Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? I'm doing good. I just got done working out. Dealing with the cats over here as they're growling at each other. So there's that. I had a protein shake already this morning. Did some meditating. Doing all right. I wish it was warmer outside, but outside of that, I'm doing pretty well, I would say. I'm trying to make sure you guys can hear me. If anybody can't, because my phone is funny when it comes to when it's standing up like that, for some reason I can't hear, or people can't hear me sometimes on video calls. So if at any point you guys can't hear me, please let me know. I'll readjust the phone. But yeah, how was everybody's weekend? You know, what happened? I slept in a little bit here and there. I tried to relax a little. I went and got this little guy. His name's Crookshanks. So that was an interesting adventure in and of itself. But yeah, I spent time with people that I care about. And, I really tried to stick to some sort of a routine. I spent all day yesterday working with other people and staying focused on that for the most part. So my weekend was pretty decent, I would say. But outside of that, I have nothing really to complain about this morning. I'm trying to get into a different type of eating style today. So this is new and I'm a little bit grumpy and, I'm dealing with all that, but that's part of what I'm about to talk about today. So I woke up this morning and I picked my card for the day and it ended up being, there we go, if you guys can see it, discipline. And all the things I thought about are, first and foremost are my recovery. And it takes an extreme amount of discipline. It takes an extreme amount of, being mindful of the way that my mind works and red flags and stuff that triggers me and sets me off. It takes an extreme amount of discipline to stick to certain routines because if I start to get off of them, I then start to revert back to those behaviors and then I start to think about using, and stuff like that. So all these things started running through my head when I read that word. But then I thought about today. What does today look like for me as far as discipline goes? Because I've talked to you guys so many times about, staying in today and in the present moment. And, for me today, what that looks like is sticking to this routine that I've built over the last couple weeks, sticking to working out because, I don't want to sometimes I shut down and I just want to be lazy. And I want to lay in bed. I want to watch Netflix. I want to eat cookies, but really sticking to it because, sorry about the cat, because I know it works for me, Thank you, Serenity. And today, one of the biggest things that I'm struggling with is my body. From sitting for the past month, over a month now, I have gained a little bit of weight back here and there in spots that, I'm not fat, I'm not gross, I don't dislike myself or any of that stuff, but it's not comfortable for me, so I'm uncomfortable right now with the way my body's reacting to this downtime. So for me, discipline looks like today, my eating habits, and for me, it's a little extreme, but for me, I have to take extremes sometimes to change something. So I'm going to go on this little cleanse for a few days and, really try to reset my eating habits and, start over with it because, when I'm working and I'm out being productive, my eating habits don't look like this. And right now, I eat triple the amount that I was when I was on the go all the time. So for me, that's what discipline looks like today in this present moment. All right, Jake, I had a good weekend. I created a schedule the night before each day for the weekend. Weekends can be triggering for me. So being aware of that, I made sure to keep myself busy, to contact some people I love that I haven't spoke with recently. I love that. For me, if I write the stuff out the night before, it really helps. Like my workouts, for example, if I don't write them the night before, I get up the next morning and I have a lot less motivation than I would if I already have it ready. If I know what my day is going to look like, I have a lot better chance of like getting up and actually following through with those things. So I love that you brought that up, Jake. Writing it out the night before, and having a schedule of what you want your day to look like, that's a form of holding yourself accountable, to get up and like, I have this to do. For me, what also works, as far as like what I have to do throughout the day is I set a lot of alarms in my phone. If I'm supposed to meet with somebody, if I'm supposed to do an inventory, if I'm supposed to call my sponsor, and now I'm going to do it with eating. I set a few this morning for the times that I need to eat. And if that alarm isn't going off, then I don't need to eat. At that point, I'm just bored and I'm whatever, So for me, that helps. That's going, I hope, to help me stick to some sort of regimen and discipline, But yeah, writing stuff out the night before and, alarms in my cell phone. Right now, technology is always in your hand for the most part. So I've found that the alarms really, really help me, especially because I forget everything. Like I'm terrible at it. Remembering things I need to do or things I was supposed to check up on or emails I was supposed to respond to, any of that stuff. So I set alarms, and you also mentioned, Jake, contact people I love that I haven't spoke with recently. I had to do that. I had to set alarms to call my grandma, to call my mom, stuff like that, because I forget, I'm human. And it's not that I forget about them as people. I forget that I wanted to reach out. I forget that I had that moment where I was like, hey, I'd really like to talk to them today. And I get caught up in whatever's going on in front of me and I forget to reach out to them. Somebody reminded me to do that the other day when I was bored. And, I felt a lot better once I called those people. And if it wasn't for her bringing it up to me, I wouldn't have done it that day, Ellen McGuire. Weekends are tough. Goals are important. You are on the right track. Absolutely. Weekends are tough. It doesn't matter, quarantine or not. Weekends are still the same. There's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of freedom, and for me, boredom and freedom are like the two biggest things, which is why I keep myself so busy and occupied. So during those downtimes, like I filled Sunday with a ton of stuff. Sunday, I've noticed, has always been a hard day for me. So that has now become my recovery focused day. I mean, my life obviously is recovery, but on those days, like I have my home group, I have certain people that I reach out to. I have, certain things that I do on Sunday for my program of recovery. And it's full, pretty much start to finish, And some weekends that's tough. But at the end of the day, it keeps me through. It keeps me going through that. And it keeps me okay on that day. Even on days that I don't want to do it. And I'm like, what am I doing? Even on, Sunday nights where I'm like, holy crow, my brain hurts. I've definitely peopled too much today. At the end of the day, it brought me through and it kept me sober. And that's what matters, recognizing those triggers and moving on, and setting things in place. But it all can relate back to discipline, relate back to that intention word for today. That's all discipline, making a schedule, knowing your triggers, putting things in place to help you work around them and work with them, work with yourself instead of against yourself. It really helps and it really keeps us going, So, okay. Fire for the mind, period. Get it? I don't get that, Danny. All right, so first reading is The Staying Strong, Demi Lovato. You guys know how much I love this book. So today's reading, April 20th. When one door closes, another opens, but we often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we do not see the one that has opened for us. That's a quote from Alexander Graham Bell. No matter what you're going through, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It may seem hard to get to it, but you can do it. Just keep working toward it, and you'll find the positive side of things. I've realized that I can always find something to look forward to, big or small. It helps to get me through those rough patches. Goal. Remember that the bad will pass, and soon you'll make it through to the other side. I really like that, and I think that it goes also with discipline too. If I've talked about it numerous times, like changing your mindset, and a lot of times we do get so caught up on this one opportunity or this one chance we thought we had, and the door closes, or we lose a job or whatever. We get so caught up in dwelling on that, on the negative part of it, that we forget that, every time something happens, there's a reason for it in the long run, and something better comes out of these things most of the time, and really, when it comes down to the discipline of training your mind, that's hard, and we've talked about it numerous times, like I said, but changing that mind frame and trying to find the positive in anything, can really change the trajectory of your life and the way that you view the world. She says in here, I've realized I can always find something to look forward to, big or small. Taking gratitude in the small things, taking gratitude in the fact of what we have today. We talked about this, I think, on Friday a little bit, taking gratitude in the fact that I have a roof over my head, or I have coffee to make in the morning. I love coffee. Any of these little things, just turning it into a positive. Like I woke up, thinking, this is an example. I didn't wake up this morning feeling this way, but let's say I woke up this morning and I just was like done with life. I could find it and turn it into like, okay, I get to get on a call at 12 o'clock. I get to reach out to supports today. I get to go grocery shopping. There's a lot of people in the world who don't get to do those things, So for me, mind discipline comes in every single day, no matter what it looks like. And like I said, that was just an example. I didn't wake up that way, thank God, this morning. But there's been days that I have, and I really have to push through. But I do that. I recognize those little things, and again, there's times that I don't do great at that. There's times that I fail utterly, and I have a really bad day. But I always get through it. And with practice, more practice of disciplining my mind to think in a positive manner instead of the negative way I've always thought, it gets easier over time, and I can change those thoughts around. And you guys can too, Ellen, your kitties are comforting too, even though I'm still working. Coming home to furries is uplifting. So grateful to have come across your video. Made my day. Thank you, Ellen. And thanks. My cats are very comforting. They make me nervous since I got the new one a little bit. My other cat, Serenity, at first didn't like him, and now he's taken to playing with him, and it makes me really nervous because Crookshanks is like this big, and Serenity's like this big, so I get nervous, but they make me happy, the little guys. They make me really happy. They're definitely uplifting, though. Definitely, I agree with that. Hi, Holly. Thanks for jumping on. But yeah, we can incorporate discipline into anything. My mind, my physical being, my emotions, like anything. So I really like that this popped up, because I know that each and every one of you can take this intention word and use it in your life today. You guys can really apply it to anything that you're doing, So use that intention today. Use it. Where do you need discipline in your life? Where are you finding some unmanageability maybe, or some chaos, or something that you're not necessarily comfortable with? Use this word and apply some discipline to it. Change your mindset. Change how you're working out. Change who you're talking to. Whatever it is that'll bring you that soul happiness that we always talk about, that I'm super adamant about, If you get that feeling in your chest, that uncomfortability, that anxiety feeling, something isn't sitting right with your soul, and that's okay, but you have the ability to do something different. You have the ability to apply discipline and change that for yourself and find a sense of peace and contentment. Each and every one of you do. So yeah. All right. So I found another reading in here as well, that I've been thinking book. If you guys want them, I'll give you the titles again if nobody's, if any of you on here haven't gotten them before. I think I've put them in there before on other videos, but anybody who hasn't watched them before. This one's called The Power of Pause. And I chose this because when I think about discipline, I think about the fact that I need to pause for a moment and feel within myself. What I was just talking about, feel my soul for a minute and find those things that are setting, off a little bit, actually take the moment to step back from my insanely busy life and sit with it for a minute and find where do I need discipline? Where would it be beneficial for me? Where would I feel a little bit happier, a little bit more at peace if I applied some discipline to that, All right. The power of pause. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. That's a quote from Eckhart Tolle. Here you are, sitting, taking a break before you hit the fast forward button on your life again. I get that. I'm just like you. I live on fast forward too. But I do have a wish for you. Before you go out and press that fast forward button, I'm praying that you'll have the courage to first press pause. That's right, press the pause button. I hope we can all learn about what I call the power of pause. As everybody else is rushing around like a lunatic out there, I dare you to do the opposite. I dare you to pause. Pausing allows you to take a beat, to take a breath of your life, in your life. I'm asking all of us to learn how to pause, especially now, because while I believe the state of our communication is out of control, and I also believe the power of pause gives us an opportunity to fix it. We all have the power to change. We all have the power to change the way we, as a nation, a society, speak to one another. We can change our national discourse for the better. We can read online and in newspapers and magazines, what we see on TV, what we hear on the radio. We have the power to change it. I'm hoping you'll dare to bring change to our community by pausing and changing the channel in our communication. Pause and change it from criticism to fault-finding. Pause and change it from criticism and fault-finding to understanding and compassion. Pause and change it from naysaying and name-calling to acceptance and appreciation. Pause and change it from dissembling and dishonesty to openness and explanation. Pause and change it from screaming to speaking. Edmund Hillary once said, "It's not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves." So let's go out to what I call the open field. Pause, and then go beyond. Pause, and take the time to find out what's important to you and make it your own. Find out what you love, what's real and true to you, so those become the things that most often infuse and inform your work, your home, your life. Pause before you report or pass along something you heard, but you don't know is absolutely true. Something you haven't corroborated with not just one, but two sources, as I was taught to do as a journalist. And make sure that they're two reliable sources, not just two sources who heard what you heard. A lie isn't true because more than one person heard it. So pause before you put a rumor out there as fact. Just because you read it or saw it on TV or on the web, no matter how many times, doesn't mean it's true. Don't just pass on garbage because you want to be first. There's no glory in being first with garbage. Pause before you hit the send button and forward a picture that could ruin someone's life or write something nasty on someone's wall because you think it's funny or clever. Believe me, it isn't. Pause before you make judgments about people's personal or professional decisions. Pause before you join in disparaging someone's looks or sexual identity or intellectual ability. Pause before forwarding the untrue and inflammatory tidbits that have made it so difficult for would-be public servants and their families to step up and lead. Sometimes when we pause, we give ourselves the space to realize we need to hold ourselves back from impulsively acting out on ego to make ourselves feel good or better or bigger or smarter or more in the know. Pausing gives us the power to change direction, and with power comes responsibility. So remember to pause before you sign on with someone or some organization whose work you already know you don't admire or respect. Who you work for is as important as what you do. I didn't invent this stop everything and pause idea. Henry David Thoreau went off to Walden Pond. Anne Morrow Lindbergh went to the sea. Buddha, Gandhi, St. Teresa of Calcutta, the greatest and wisest have often stopped and withdrawn from active lives to journey within themselves. The wisdom they garnered there and shared with us has changed the world. Pause and feel your strength and vulnerability. Acknowledge your goodness and don't be afraid of it. Look at your darkness and work to understand it so you'll have the power to choose who you'll be in this world. Women, look at your toughness and your softness. You can and should make room for both in your life. The world needs both. Men, find your gentleness and wrap it into your manliness. You too can make room for both. The greatest men do. I pray that you will be able to pause and spend time with yourself to give thanks for the journey that has brought you here. Express your gratitude today to all those who have made your journey possible. Pause and be grateful for all the love you have in your life and all the love you've ever had. As you head into the open field of life, keep your mind open, keep your heart open. Don't be afraid to be afraid. Courageous people are often afraid. In fact, that's why they need courage in the first place. Have the courage to go beyond your fears. Have the courage to go beyond judgment, to go beyond others' rules and expectations. Have the courage to go beyond shoulda, coulda, woulda. Live and write your own story, and then be brave enough to communicate it authentically. Trust me, someone else will be inspired by it and learn from it. And finally, remember this. Whenever you're in doubt, pause. Take a moment, look at your options, check your intentions, and then take the high road. I need to slow my life down to really see the people in my life. Help me to be so conscious of them that I take the time to look into their eyes and connect with the person who is right there in front of me. I really like that reading. You know, it kind of brings you back to the basics of everything. Of life itself. As I said, I can't make any changes if I'm just going through all this nonsense all day, every day, filling every second of every day with something. I can't apply discipline. I can't apply change. I can't grow. I can't any of it if I'm not taking a moment just to sit back and look at what it is that I'm dealing with. A little bit off topic, but she also brings up a bunch of different things that we as humans do. We react to things. We talk about things. We say things to people. We judge people. All these things happen in an instant. We do it. That's just what we do. It's part of survival. It's part of instinct. You're not wrong. But why not take that moment to pause? Maybe that's one of the things I need to apply discipline to. Really take a minute and pause. Check my intentions. What is it that I'm trying to do here? Am I being kind and loving towards everybody? Am I understanding where people are at? Am I meeting them where they're at? Or am I just being mean? Am I just being impulsive? Am I just being judgmental? Really taking that moment to pause in every facet of life can change the outcome of all of it. It can change the way that you handle it. It can change the way that our lives go depending on what we do to grow within ourselves. Let's see what we got here. Jake, with everything going on, I've actually become more connected to people than I was. My relationships are actually getting stronger because I'm making it a point to connect. And when things do go back to normal, I know I'll feel more comfortable being around people in general. Less shameful because I'm dealing with them. Every day I feel the growth, and I love who I'm becoming. That's the positives I see from this tragedy. Absolutely. I can relate to that, Jake. I've brought it up a couple times. I see a lot of good coming out of this. A lot of times it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't. But we're learning to connect on a different level. Me personally, my relationships are definitely stronger. I'm more present today. I'm not great at it, but I'm working on it, I'm building a better routine than I had when I was working, becoming healthier in my mind, my finances, my physical being. I'm becoming healthier by being forced to get back to the basics, by being forced to pause. The world just did this to us. The world made us pause. Holly, pause is where I'm at in my life right now. Absolutely. Love that extra. Thank you. Definitely needed the reminder today. Absolutely. Me too. I definitely needed this too. So a lot of times I get caught up in the impulsive decisions, man. I do. It's one of my downfalls. I definitely get caught up in what I'm feeling right now. Let me act on it. Let me eat that food, or let me run, or let me just not talk to anyone and shut down. Like, those are my things. That's what I've always known, as far as survival goes, is just to react and do. And I've learned over the past few years, like, the power of pausing. But like I said, we're all human, sometimes they're better than others. And right now I'm not doing great with that. I'm not doing great with, like, the pause and let me think about what I'm actually doing here. Why am I actually doing what I'm doing, And for me, discipline, discipline plays a huge role in that. Why do I feel a need to sit here and not get up and not work out? Why do I feel a need to not reach out? Why do I feel a need to veg out and be lazy? Like, I'm just compensating for something. So if I can just pause and really look in myself and figure out what it is that's triggering that in me, it'll change. And I know a lot of you guys can relate to that too. But we all have that power. We all have the power, and I talk about it so much, so I'm sorry if I kill you with it. But, being humans, we have that power. It's a beautiful thing. The power to change, grow, and do something different. And again, that's recovery. It has nothing to do with my alcohol and substance use from years ago. It has nothing to do with that. It's about me as a human. The things I do, the things that set me off, the things I don't do. That's my soul right there. That is my soul. So I implore you guys today, take a minute, pause, sit with yourself, and figure it out. What is it that you need to apply a little bit of discipline to? What is it that makes your chest feel tight and gives you that anxious feeling? What is that? And once you figure out what it is, let's try to figure out what exactly causes that. And we can apply some discipline in it. Maybe I change the way that I'm talking to people. Maybe I simply get up earlier in the morning. Maybe I meditate for 10 minutes. Maybe I reach out to 5 people. Maybe I just change a thought. Maybe I just change a thought. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be. So I think that's a good intention for everybody today. Take a step back and really see where you need some discipline in your life and what's going to help you to feel better in your own skin today. Because each one of us are amazing, amazing people. We have tremendous power. And we have a lot of potential and purpose in this life. Tap into it. And how you tap into it is by making those subtle changes that make you a better person. There's always room for growth. So look into it today. I'll look into it today. I'll journal tonight, and I will recap with you guys at the beginning of tomorrow's video and see how it went. I put a comment in there with the rock recovery resources. And also, as I always say, feel free to reach out to any of us. I'm on Messenger. You can reach out to us. There's an email address. You can reach out to the Facebook Messenger for just rock recovery itself. But please reach out, share with us, talk to us. If you need any help or advice, I'm here for you guys. On anything in deeper detail about what I've been talking about today. But yeah, reach out to us and apply some discipline to your life today. And I hope to hear good things tomorrow. Thank you guys for jumping on this video. I love and appreciate every single one of you. And I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow. So have a good day and be kind to yourselves.